Hello everyone, my name is Wendy Ivy Martinez and I am a geek. Today we are doing the Booktube Newbie Challenge. Now I know what you're gonna say.
Haven't you been posting for like a couple months?
Yes. Haven't I had this channel for a few years? Yes. But here's the thing. Even though I've had this channel for a few years, I've just started posting just a couple months ago. And I really wanted to do this challenge, so we're gonna do it. Yeah, who needs rules? Let's go ahead and get started. Now, I'm not sure who the original creator of this tag is. I just saw someone else do this tag, so I will link that person down below. And if they have the original person that made this tag, I will link them down below as well, because I want to give full credit. I didn't make this booktube tag. It was made by someone else. Let's go ahead and just get started with the questions. The first one is, why did you start this channel? Now, the first time I started this channel years and years ago was because I wanted to do something with beauty, but I haven't been passionate about like makeup and stuff for a while, and I don't see myself being passionate about makeup again. But one thing that has always been a consistent theme throughout my life has been books. I've always loved books a lot, so that is why I wanted to create this channel where I can talk to you guys about the books that I love and form a community, because I don't really have that in person too much. I only have a handful of people that will allow me to talk to them about books, because most people don't read anymore, and that's sad. So that's why I wanted to bring this channel to just talk about what I really love, you know, and just share that love with you guys, people that get it, they like understand. What are some fun and unique things that you can bring to YouTube? Well, I am a weirdo, but I like to do different things. For example, for last month, or this month I guess, September, for the beginning of the month, I did a TBR where I let tarot cards pick my TBR. So I bring very interesting and unique little twists to things, and then obviously you guys can always follow up with them too. I even made a whole template if you guys wanted to do the tarot one specifically, and then I have very unique ideas for next month's TBR as well, and I just bring a new and interesting twist to book videos. So what are you most excited about for this channel? So I do have another channel where I have a bigger following, and that one's all about like supernatural and paranormal things, because that's another thing that I'm very passionate about. However, when I tried to make book videos on there, they didn't do well, just because the audience is so different. A lot of people that like paranormal stuff don't necessarily like books, and a lot of people that like books don't necessarily like paranormal things. So I decided to split the channels just because the audience was just a little bit confused, and I feel like the algorithm was a little bit confused. That's why I decided to make this one a separate channel from that one. Why do I love reading? Honestly, reading has always been there for me. Books have always been there for me, especially when I was going through a lot in life. Growing up, especially in like high school, I didn't necessarily have too many friends, so I would turn a lot to like books and reading, and I would read during lunch and stuff just because I didn't necessarily have people to talk to. So they were always there for me. They helped me cope. They helped me throughout like my most stressful times, because it provides me with a world to escape to, where I am the one empowered, where I am the one that is in control in these other worlds, versus having to face the hardship of life. And it's gotten me through some really dark times, being able to have a world to escape in. I still to this day do that. Whenever I have a lot of stress, that's when I find I read the most, because it's, I guess, my own form of self-care and self-help, and it really helps me cope with the hardships that I have in life. What book series got you into reading? There are so many. Growing up, the first books before I even really knew how to read, I was picking up the Ramona Quimby series and pretending to read them until I finally figured out how to read those books. And then there was the Molly Moon series, Molly Moon's Incredible Book of Hypnotism, Molly Moon Stops the World or something like that, Time Traveling Adventure. Those books I grew up with. I really loved them so much, and I just found throughout my life I had a different book series that sort of got me back into reading. So then in high school I had like the Mediator series by Meg Cabot. That was like my all-time favorite series. And then when I got a little bit older, it was the House of Night series, and there's always been a book series that have just always been there for me, that got me out of my reading slump and got me into reading again. And I just found throughout my life I would just have these periods where I would stop reading, but then I would read a series that like made me realize why I loved reading again. What questions would you ask your favorite booktubers? I would just ask them for advice, you know, how they grew their channels, how they came to have the community that they have, how they feel about having this community, how they feel about being on Booktube for so and so many years. I would just ask them personal questions, and then just professional questions, I guess, of what they did to grow their YouTube channels, any advice that they might give me. What challenges will be the hardest with Booktube? Honestly, when you start doing Booktube, you have a little bit of extra pressure to make sure that you read, and that is probably the biggest challenge, because sometimes I'll find that I'm not reading as fast as I hoped to be, and especially when I'm in a reading slump, I'm like, no, I have to finish a book, I have to finish this book, and I put so much pressure on myself just because I know that I have this like deadline to meet, and I don't want to come back with a reading wrap up where I've only read like 2 or 3 books in the month, and I have that extra pressure. And that's probably the biggest challenge that I face, just having to stick with reading so many books at a time. And sometimes I'll put on an extra stress and be like, whoa, I've read 10 books this month, let's try for 15. And then I overdo it sometimes, that I'm like, why did I do that? Like, why did I put that extra pressure on me? Especially because I know that I'm already doing a lot in life, as in, like, you guys know, I've said it time and time again that I've been moving, and even though I moved in now, there's still so much remodeling that I have to do, plus all the furniture that we still have yet to buy, the decorations. There's just still so much that we're not fully 100% moved in yet, just because we came from being in such a contained small space to a much larger living area. So going from something so small to like a larger living area, it's just like, what we need to, like, there's just so much going on in real life that I just it's just so much. It's just so much. When did you start reading? I've started reading as soon as I could pick up a book, honestly. But I want to say that it became very consistent once I hit the age of 10. That's when I picked up the Molly Moon series, and that's when I was like, I love it. I not only love to read, I love to write too. I mean, I have written like books and stories that I would write growing up, but I've never written like a book or anything like that. So maybe in the future I would do that, but as of right now, I want to say 10. Where do you read? So I read in this chair. This is my reading chair, and right next to it I have my TBR cart. This chair / my TBR cart is currently in my bedroom, but like I said, we are remodeling, so I do have a walk-in closet that I am turning into my own personal book nook / library, so I might read there. However, it doesn't have a window, so I'm probably gonna either stick to this chair or maybe the living room. Yeah. During the nighttime, I don't mind being in a windowless room, but when it's a beautiful day, I want to see outside. I need the natural lighting. I need it. That's why I could never be a vampire, okay? last question is, what kinds of books do you like to read? So I read adult books. I don't really read YA, I don't read middle grade, I don't read kids novels unless I'm reading to my kids. Other than that, I read purely adult fiction. Specifically, I love me some fantasy, especially romance fantasy, romantasy. I love thrillers, I love horror books, I dabble into some sci-fi every now and then. I love manga. I love graphic novels. That's when I read YA. I only read YA if it's like graphic novels or manga. That's pretty much the gist of it. You're gonna find me reading thrillers, mangas, horror, romantasy, fantasy. Yes, that is what you're gonna catch me reading. I said horror, right? Yeah. That is what you're gonna catch me reading. Anyways, that's it. That's it, you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed making it. If you haven't yet, please hit that subscribe button and turn on that notification bell to be notified when I post. I post 3 times a week, all book related videos. And if you want to make this video as well, please be sure to tag me because I want to watch you guys as well. If you guys want to answer any of these questions down in the comments, you are able to do so. Please feel free. I would love to actually interact with you guys as well. And yeah, so my Goodreads and all that stuff is going to be down below in case you want to be friendsies on Goodreads. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!